Welcome to this webcast. I'm Steen Graham, CEO and co-founder of Metrum AI. We've been thrilled to have the opportunity to get, early access to Gaudi 3 technologies and develop a number of innovative AI agents that do chain of thought reasoning, ingest vision language models, and so much more. And what I want to share with you guys today is a little bit about um, Metrum's platform, our agent factory, showcase the three state-of-the-art AI agents we developed on Gaudi 3, and then share a little bit about how we ported our AI agents onto Intel's inference API and how we're able to seamlessly transition across Gaudi on-prem, Gaudi in the cloud, or even to alternative AI accelerator technologies just seamlessly as well. And I know everybody's always asking the questions of how much work does it take to port technologies across the leading AI accelerators, whether it's NVIDIA or AMD or Intel's portfolio, and it is quite seamless with the Intel inference API. So I'll tell you a little bit about that as well. And I'll showcase a demo at the end that shows just that that we demonstrated live at Dell Technologies World this year in May. So just to get rolling, just to give you guys a little intro into Metrum AI, we have several technologies and products that we focus on. But as for the purpose of this audience, I want to share with you our Metrum Agent Factory. So we partnered with Dell Technologies over the last year and a half to develop over 10 state-of-the-art AI agents that solve industry-specific problems. Whether that's monitoring your data center infrastructure, we have a deep integration with Dell iDRAC technology, where the AI agent can actually root cause failures in your infrastructure via log file ingestion. It can even write Jira tickets or use whatever ticketing system you use. We have data center infrastructure agents that even can provision GPU servers, which can be kind of time sensitive and troublesome. We also launched at Mobile World Congress this year our telecommunications infrastructure agent focused on the radio access and the core access networks. Very similar to the challenge data centers face today. It's all about service quality and uptime. This agent monitors data drop rates, drop call rates. It will autonomously 24/7 view all of the telemetry data that's happening off like the base stations, like the baseband units or the radio heads. And then the AI agent will use chain of thought reasoning to evaluate any incidents or quality of service challenges that occur. And what's really fun about these AI agents is, they can do all the paperwork for you. So they could write the incident reports, the shift handover reports, the downtime, reports for your customers as well. So that's a great use case today. One of the use cases I'm going to share a little bit later that we developed on Gaudi 3 that we actually showcased at Supercompute last year, so very early in the Gaudi 3 lifecycle, was our network operations customer support agent. This one's particularly targeted at ISP providers, notably fiber providers, that want to delight their customers with great customer support, but want to do so with the intelligence of an AI agent. So I'll share more with that a little bit later. We've developed several manufacturing agents, one of which I'll showcase for you today. We've also developed agents to create deep technical content, deep technical white papers as well. We have to show off the work that we do, and so leveraging, an AI agent to help, write our content is something that we use as well. Insurance claims, one of the biggest challenges when you have, major events is you want to be able to respond quickly and cut a check to people so they can get back in their homes as fast as possible. But the claim process is extremely timely. So we've developed an AI agent that helps inspectors dramatically reduce the time from, damage to ultimately, helping people restart their lives. We've done AI agents as well for legislative bill analysis. One of the biggest challenges in legislative bills is you've got all these different bills. They're coming in last segment. Everybody's editing them at the last minute. And unfortunately, for each of like the subcommittees, such as the environmental subcommittee, regulatory subcommittee, the budgetary subcommittee, they actually have to have all the paperwork. They have to have their reports assessed on the impact of the bill once those edits come in. So, AI agents kind of help ingest all those bills, make sure that none of the legislation is, conflicting with prior legislation, look at the environmental or budgetary impact as well. Very cool solution as well. We build AI agents with multimodal healthcare. This is where we not only integrated with an open EMR solution, we used pathology and imagery connections through DICOM, so state-of-the-art vision language models for radiology, pathology, also audio transcription, because that's the number one indicator of a doctor's productivity right now is their typing speed. So you have to have a scribe to help them to type faster. But also just generating patient visit summaries so they don't have to take all the time. And even though our audio translation is great, it's not in the language that the hospitals and the facilities would like in a patient visit summary. It needs to be a little bit more on brand and professional on that front. So, um, and many more agents we've developed. The three that I really want to spend some time on today, which we developed, really, about 6 months ago at this point. So very early in the life cycle of Gaudi 3. It's obviously, as you guys know, state-of-the-art AI chips dramatically improve over time with new model server updates, new optimizations. So they're constantly supporting. So I'll talk a little bit about the multimodal customer support agent first, and the one we put together for the fiber ISP provider. Talk a little bit about AI agents for defect detection. This is very cool because we're using state-of-the-art vision language models to inspect defects in manufacturing facilities, and then talk a little bit about enterprise HR support agent as well. So kind of three agents I'll walk through. One of the challenges with ISPs is just, their customers can face extended wait times, inconsistent support of quality, and ultimately that results in low customer satisfaction ratings. So, very unfortunate there. What we built is this state-of-the-art agent, on Gaudi 3, dramatically reduces wait times. It drives consistent responses. It uses the best-in-class examples and templates of customer support for that ISP, and gives you the experience seamlessly from voice to chat. So, some really, really cool features in this is, it's got a great, vector database that kind of stores all of that customer support language, Q&As, what do we do in this particular situation? So that's really great. Because we leverage voice transcription and you need to know who's talking, we have speech diarization elements as well. We use the open weights, Llama 3.1 $70 billion model as well. We used an embeddings model to accurately query that vector database. And this one we actually moved over into the fantastic inference API service from Gaudi 3 as well. So we were able to kind of port that capability over as well. You can see we're using Llama Deploy for our agentic RAG framework and Fast API for our web application framework. So kind of open sourcing the solution architecture to you guys if you guys want to build similar applications. You can kind of see the UI here. Where we've got this, really kind of seamless UI, where this is the chat-based version of the UI, which you can turn into voice mode. One of the things really cool, and everybody's always asking what is an agent, right? And the one thing you have to do to make, agents have to have, human-like capability. And so the ability to reason is very important. So we use chain of thought reasoning in this use case. And then humans have access to tools. And so, we give the agent access to tools. In this case, like, a customer can come in, they can authenticate the user. So the agent has the access to authenticate a user, just like a regular customer support rep would authenticate you. One of the cool tools that we gave this agent access to is all the network telemetry APIs. And so if somebody comes in and complains about their internet not working or being too slow, the AI agent can pull the latency, the jitter, the packet loss, and understand real time whether or not the network is operating within the service level guidelines. So really compelling on that front. Can kind of pull that out. very easily. So great capability. We also taught the agent how to upsell. So for example, if somebody comes in and they're complaining about their low performance network, but they're on a lower tier, the agent will say, hey, we're actually within your thresholds of your plan. Do you want to upgrade to get higher performance? So that's another fun feature of this agent as well. Um, and you can kind of look at how this works. We need to kind of give that agent the knowledge and the memory, and we do that via the vector database. That you provide them the plans, all the information, the typical customer support procedures and Q&As, and then the RAG-based agentic workflow system is able to query all that information, and it's able to fetch metrics like the network telemetry, authenticate users, update things in the CRM tool as well, which I didn't mention before, but we also have integration with CRM, so we could see if the customer was delighted or not, and update the issues that they had as well. And of course, the audio input or the chat-based input is also being stored in that vector database. So really cool state-of-the-art solution we developed on Gaudi 3. The other, use case that I mentioned earlier is defect detection in manufacturing facilities. So obviously, one of the biggest and most important elements in manufacturing is, your yield quality. So you want extremely high yields. That's what drives, your output, ultimately top line revenue. Also, the higher yields you get, the less raw commodities go through your manufacturing line. And usually in manufacturing, there's a vision-based, human-based vision defect detection flow, or there's some equipment at the last mile in manufacturing process. That manual defect detection, is error prone. And if it's at the last mile defect detection, then you could miss defects upstream in the manufacturing process. That way, if you had a defect earlier in your manufacturing bad product throughout the process, you're just spending more money, more resources on that. So great opportunity to save money and optimize yields on that front. Um, this solution we use an agentic RAG stack powered by these vision language models. And what these vision language models are able to do is they're able to take in quality images and describe those images. But not only that, we're pulling in real-time time series information, which is allowing us to understand if there's anomalies on the machine, because we don't want to just know if a defect occurred. We want to know maybe if there's a machine failure, if a machine's not calibrated correctly that's driving those defects. And then ultimately, this agent is root causing why that defect occurred. So it's not just defect detection in a traditional computer vision sense. It's also getting the machine calibration issues and automating the root cause analysis as well. And of course, we're looping in the human experts in this particular solution because there's a lot of domain knowledge here. Again, this is something we were able to kind of port over to the Intel Inference Service API. We ran it on Llama 3.370 billion model. We also ran the vision language model, 11 billion parameter vision language model there. We've got an embeddings model. This one, we're ingesting video data, sensor data. We're using a kind of state-of-the-art industry protocol called OPCUA, which is kind of the northbound protocol that's growing in the manufacturing industry that's providing us that time series data as well. So you can kind of see that full stack that we implemented here. Now, as I alluded to, we're pulling in that camera feed data. That's allowing our vision language model to inspect those images. We're pulling in the industrial machine data through that OPCUA server, storing that in our database. And then all of the domain-specific knowledge, that kind of deep knowledge base, we're enabling the AI agent to have that historical knowledge via the vector DB. And then all in that agentic RAG workflow, it can kind of start root causing this, querying problems as well. And then it can issue Jira tickets or email notifications and reporting when it addresses and finds issues to that process. And the kind of fun thing I like to show is just kind of the GPU mapping. So you can see, we have, the models here, how we deploy the GPUs across, Gaudi, running multiple instances of Llama 3.3. That's going to increase your throughput and your outcome, running the embeddings models, and then running the vision language models as well. So that's the subsystem breakdown of our mapping. and you can kind of see an image of this UI that we developed. You're looking at, press machines, furnish machines, CNC machines, and on the left-hand side, it's autonomously inspecting the products as they're coming out. For this example, we use nuts. Then we have a chat window if you want to chat and understand more about those defects. But because of this autonomous agent, it will auto-generate, reports on those defects as well. Got a fun telemetry set up on Gaudi 3 as well, just to kind of understand what models are running and what utilization we're getting out of the compute layer and what power the server is operating at as well. And then one of the biggest challenges, everybody's got so many questions. There's a lot of corner cases when it comes to human resources. And sometimes you're not really comfortable, raising something. You don't know when is the time to raise something, or you don't know who to raise it to. And you're looking for consistent responses across your human resources organization as well, because ultimately, human resources is one of the most important and litigated subsegments of job roles. And so it's really important to have consistent responses, but fast responses, and be, kind of provide inclusive ways for people to ask what maybe they think is an odd question that they don't want to maybe, pull in an HR rep to ask that. So, one of the things you can use is an HR agent to do just that. That's something we developed, an agentic RAG stack on Gaudi 3. It has all the policy details of the companies. As you guys probably know, companies usually have hundreds of pages of policy. I'm certainly guilty of working for companies and not knowing verbatim all of the policy and not wanting to read the 200-page documents. It integrates with the human resources management system, so you can get specific data about the person that's inquiring, and of course kind of leverages this AI agent to simulate and showcase that standard policy that corporation would want to execute to. So really fun solution here. You can see another kind of state-of-the-art stack that we developed on Gaudi 3. We used Open Weights Llama 3.3 embeddings models. We ingested and integrated with the HR MS system here. Using LangChain here as our agentic RAG framework works great for us. Just a great solution that was really easy for us to develop on Gaudi 3. No problem in doing that. You can see that in this case, we're taking that HR policy, we're storing that in the vector DB, we're giving that AI agent with chain of thought reasoning, kind of the ability to kind of fetch those documents and retrieve those correctly. And I'll show you a little demo about this a little bit later, but you can see easy chat interface. You can also enable a voice interface where, maybe you've got kind of something, where you tripped on a tile coming on a certain floor, an office building. And, you want to notify that, hey, this tile needs to be fixed. What should I do if I have a safety incident? You maybe don't know who the facilities manager is. And this HR agent can kind of walk you through the appropriate steps in that particular case and file an incident report. Because obviously, number one thing that every company strives to have is a very safe working environment. It's, always job one is to have a safe working environment for their employees. So great use case here. I'll show you a couple more use cases a little bit later. As I alluded to at the onset of this call, we deployed these. Initially, we developed them without the Intel Inference API, but we later ported them over and deployed them on the Intel Inference API. And so for a lot of people ask the question of like, hey, I already developed an application. I'm already running, my models in this application. How do I port it over? Well, thanks to the OpenAI compatible API and the work the team at Intel has done around the Inference API, you're really able to seamlessly port over from any other, state-of-the-art hardware platform you have. And so in this particular example, what we chose to do is we took that quality inspection agent and we took that human resources agent. And there's a lot of application logic, as you guys know, and logic that isn't just the model serving. But we took that subsegment, the model serving subsegment, and we ran it on the Intel Inference API and ported that over really seamlessly. So we have no problems doing that. What that really adjusts is like, hey, maybe there's supply constraints out of certain type of hardware. You just want choice across vendors. Allowing you to seamlessly kind of port your workloads is something that this offers. Traditionally, historically, there's been a high engineering cost to port or a perceived high engineering cost. Usually, you got a working application that's optimized. You don't want to port it because it's another engineering spend. In this way, you can just do it in hours and not weeks of engineering effort. Also, maybe you've got some underutilized infrastructure. We actually ran this inference endpoint on Intel CPU as well. So maybe you got CPUs available to you, you don't have GPUs, you want to run it. That's great. So, and as I alluded to earlier, so we've historically in the AI space been constrained by certain vendor availability as well. So yeah, just great seamless portability. It's standards based, OpenAI compatible API, and it's hardware agnostic. All right, so I'm going to show you guys a video of what we had running live at Dell Tech World this year. Was those agents, our HR agent, our manufacturing agent, running on the Intel Inference API. So really, state-of-the-art solutions. Can you port them, to Gaudi? Can you port them to, NVIDIA? And that in this case, we're going to show the HR agent, and we're going to show it porting across, multiple modalities there. So yeah, so we're going to start out. This is like the HRMS agent. See the options at the top. We have Gaudi 3 on-prem. We've got Gaudi 3 cloud. We've got Gaudi 3 H100. You can just ask a query into this particular agent, like that same query we asked earlier when we originally developed. Hey, I tripped on this tile. Right now we're running this Gaudi 3 on-prem. This is on Dell's XE98 server. Comes back really quick. You can see there's reasoning involved in this. So you can see they're looking at the safety policy procedures, the location validation, trying to figure out where the event occurred. Because if you're going to fix a tile that somebody stubbed their toe on, you got to know where it is. And ultimately kind of build out that incident report. And you can just download this report. So now you've saved a dramatic amount of time. We created a safer workspace with this AI agent. Super easy. It's, maybe much better than a 30-minute call with an HR rep or somebody else. Now, one of the questions was, hey, can you just easily port, maybe you run out of your XE9680s, but you want to scale your Gaudi 3 workload. In this case, we ran it in the Gaudi 3 IBM cloud. We can ask a different fun question like somebody posted something that seems inconsistent with the company's policies on social media. Maybe they talked about a product that was, sensitive client information, or and so that's a concern. You can just upload, the particular link to that, and we can create an incident report. And it's hard to determine what's okay and not okay on social media these days. So boom, we have a social media policy violation that's just developed on the AI agent. And again, like we showed it on-prem, on the cloud. We did this all live at Dell Tech World, so super seamless to transition. I think, Xeon's great, CPU workload. And so, you can maybe you run out of infrastructure and you say, hey, can I run some, an AI agent on Xeon? Can I run it on Xeon? Well, sure you can. Response is going to be a little bit slower. So we're just asking a simple question like who approves internal transfer requests? And you can see that come up here. And yeah, of course, you can also run, just to kind of show that this is cross architecture. We fired up an NVIDIA H100 and it runs seamlessly on NVIDIA H100s as well. You can see we just kind of recapping that architecture that we deployed on here. And state-of-the-art open AI agent frameworks and tools that we used to develop this solution. And really thrilled to have the opportunity to kind of show you guys how easy it is to build state-of-the-art agents, on Gaudi 3, how easy it is to port across the leading AI accelerators, and kind of some of the tricks of the trade as it pertains to state-of-the-art AI software stacks as well, and how we develop these type of solutions. I really appreciate everybody for your time and tuning in, and please reach out to me at Steen at Metrum AI if you guys have any questions or thoughts. And feedback is a gift if you want to reach out. So really appreciate your time today.